I don't know how much you know about this story. Don't be dissuaded because it is sports related.
No, I did. It was interesting. This guy's a
Okay.
big fat liar.
Yes, because sports are really irrelevant other than they are this guy's livelihood.
Yes.
He is, as I said, his name is Bruce Maxwell. And like I said, I like baseball and I don't even know who he is. He's the backup catcher for the Oakland Athletics. And I swear to God, the first time I've ever heard his name is about him kneeling towards the end of the season. He was the only baseball player to kneel during the national anthem. Whatever, fine, kneel, whatever. I don't want to talk about that. But what's interesting is he, this is a good segue to hoax hate, which we'll do after this. He, in a video released by TMZ, I'm not sure if he was speaking to TMZ or if TMZ just acquired the video. I'm not sure exactly who he's talking to in the video. He says that, hey, I went home to my hometown in Huntsville, Alabama, and I went to lunch with a city councilman friend of mine, and we were racially profiled by the waiter. And we were denied service by this waiter because he recognized me and said, hey, you're that guy who kneels. Well, I love Trump and I'm not going to serve you. So this is Bruce Maxwell's explanation of what happened to him.
I got racially profiled in my hometown the day I got home. I wasn't
That
even
guy's
home
like
4
barely
hours,
black.
and I got denied service at lunch with our city councilman, who's also an African American guy I went to high school with, because the dude recognized me as the guy that took a knee and he voted for Trump and was at that Trump rally in Huntsville, Alabama. And so he denied us service at lunch. They had to go get us another waiter to wait on our table in that same restaurant.
Wow, so he refused to serve you because of what you...
Yeah, and he was like, oh, yeah, you're that guy, huh? He goes, you're the guy. I was like, excuse me? He was like, yeah, you're the guy that took the knee. He goes, I voted for Trump. He goes, and I stand for everything he stands for. And I was like, oh, really? And our councilman, went and got their manager and had some words with him and took him off of our table and put us another person on our table. And that's where I'm from, man. But like I said, unless you're subject to it, you won't understand and you won't feel it. But it's like I'm 26 years old. I'm very respectful. I'm very educated. And it still happens, like, to this day. That's the reason why I'm kneeling. Like, stuff like that. It's crazy to, like, talk about it, but it's real. It really is. It really is.
Dude, that guy is, like, barely black. I wouldn't even be as scared if he approached me at night.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. You're going to get me in trouble. My God.
Well, I'm calling bullshit on this.
What are you trying to do to me?
I'm trying to get the show kicked off of YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much. If we weren't demonetized, oh my God. All right. Now that you've succeeded in almost knocking me out of my chair. It's this. So if that sounds crazy, that's because at least there's another case on this. And the other case on this is from the waiter. The waiter says, that's not true. Surprise, surprise. Here's what actually happened, according to the waiter. So he said he spoke with Fox News, did the waiter, and he says the entire confrontation that he had with this table, with this Bruce Maxwell, was actually because one of the guys, it was Bruce Maxwell and the city council member and another guy in the lunch party. And the other guy asked for a beer, and the waiter carded him, and the ID was expired. And the waiter says, I'm not giving you a beer because your ID is expired. Mm-hmm. Says the waiter, he, Bruce Maxwell, is outright lying. This is really upsetting as he was given full service. I didn't even know who Bruce Maxwell was. Fact check, that's true. Nobody knows who Bruce Maxwell is, so we can confirm that's the truth. The waiter says that Maxwell was joined by this city councilman and another man, and of the three, only Maxwell could provide valid ID to get a drink. The waiter said he told the men he couldn't serve them without valid ID because he had a friend lose a job 15 years ago for serving an underage person, so his policy is if anyone looks under 30, I'm going to card them. The manager at the restaurant also backed the waiter's story. The waiter came to me, says the manager, and told me that a guy wanted a beer, but his ID was not valid, and told him he absolutely could not give it to him. We can go to jail in this state, in the state of Alabama, says the manager. It was his friend causing all the fuss. None of us even knew who this baseball player was. I told him I had no idea who he was going on about. Eventually, the waiter asked if he could be removed from the table, and so the manager did that. And the manager says,
"That's a really common policy that they won't serve you anything." Yeah.
So I joked, Maxwell would respond and substantiate his allegations. But he got a gun charge in Arizona. So it's not necessarily related, but it's just funny. Saturday night, apparently it's something with Bruce Maxwell and food servers. I don't know what's going on here. He orders food to his home in Scottsdale, and the allegation is that this food delivery woman comes to his house and he points a gun at her.
Good Lord.
No, not much further explanation than that.
Maxwell why? Was there like news of an altercation or just that he pointed a gun at her?
The call to the cops, officers, so the call to the cops, or at least what it says here is, officers went to Maxwell's home Saturday night. After getting a call about a person with a gun, Maxwell was booked on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and disorderly conduct.
Huh.
Okay.
Huh.
Now, that's not necessarily relevant to his spat with the waiter. But what I find interesting about this story with the waiter, even if his story is true, like if he went in there, first off, it's not racial profiling. Like the waiter, according to his story, said, "Hey, you're the guy who kneels for the national anthem and I don't like that, so screw you." Yeah. That's not racial profiling. That's political profiling. That's saying you have a stupid opinion and I don't like it. And again, even if this is true, what is the waiter doing? He's doing political protest at work. Right. Which is exactly what Bruce Maxwell is famous for now, for political protest at work.
That's true.
If he doesn't want to serve you because you don't want to stand for the national anthem, I think everyone's within their rights to do that, personally. I don't have a problem with anybody in that arrangement.
Let's ask the real question. Why would you lie about this, young man?
Why would Bruce lie?
Yeah.
For victim bucks, of course. Not for like actual money, but I just mean like victim credibility. To perpetuate the narrative. Same reason Michael Bennett does. It's an anti-police, perpetuate the victimhood type mentality.
I don't know. I mean, it's so easily disprovable when these things happen. Also, he's committing crimes, like pretty bad crimes. Pointing a gun at something. Jeez. Ugh. He's been charged for that, right?
Yeah, he got a aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and disorderly conduct charges. I mean, these are serious charges.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Maybe this food delivery lady went up, knocked on his door. "Hey, I know you. You're the guy that kneeled for the anthem." "Shut up, bitch," and he points a gun at her face. Apparently that's what happened. "Give me that food and get out of here." I don't understand. I would like to see, there's got to be obviously more details in this case.
Well, apparently he dreams about being racially profiled. I mean, it's what he wants.
I mean, it was interesting how he phrased a lot of it too. "You might not see it, and you might not experience it, but it's there. You just have to believe me. It's there. It's mystical and magical, and it's everywhere, but you can't see it and you can't feel it. You just have to believe. It's like your imaginary friend."
Oh, yikes. All right.
It's a good transition into hoax hate. Speaking of like trying to perpetuate it.
I'm just trying to gear up. I'm gearing up for surprise cringe. That's the real thing.
Okay. Should we get through the hoax hate and then we'll take a break and then we can do surprise cringe? Sound like a plan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so, man. All right.
Hoax hate is fun. So we talked about this before. What was the context in which we spoke about this previously? Basically, what's frustrating to me is even in the cases where we have hoax hate that is confirmed to be a hoax, at least, and here's what I mean by hoax: a swastika that is not done by a Nazi of the Aryan race. Let's put it that way. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by hoax.
Yeah.
When
if the lines aren't straight and the same size, you can be pretty assured that it wasn't a Nazi.
Yes. So even in cases where we know it's confirmed, it seems like people who acknowledge that it's confirmed still don't get to that. They don't make that final step. They say, "Well, why would he do this? Was he an actual black Nazi? Did he actually hate the Jews? I can't believe it." They don't make that extra step to say, this is clearly to perpetuate a victim narrative.
Yeah.
It's clearly to perpetuate a political narrative.
We talked about this, and there was the interview with the college girl. Was this last week or a few weeks ago?
That's the thing is they run together, and in this story too, they interview students, and one of the students says something very similar, like almost identical.
Case.
And it's a different case. This is at Eastern Michigan University. So here's the news story. Eastern Michigan University. This happened. The actual graffiti happened last year, 2016, and it's now being exposed. There were like massive marches, and it was a big controversy. Oh, I forgot. I forgot. Should I play the sounder? Or should we just move into it?
Whatever you want.
You nigger, you damn spick.
I think that we should discourage certain people from breeding and we should encourage others.
We import people with leprosy, tuberculosis, and diseases I can't even pronounce. Crazy? You bet it is.